In this lesson entitled Finding Formulas, we're in Workbook Tips and Tricks, and we're on the very first tab called Finding Formulas. If you're familiar at all with Excel, you know how important it can be to know whether the data you're looking at is a constant, just a regular number, or if it's actually a formula. You're also very familiar with the formula bar up here in the very top. We call this bar here the formula bar, and it's very useful because if I click on any cell, we can see what's actually there. Here we see that we just simply have the number 140, and we refer that as a constant. As I click down here, we can see these are just numbers. But suddenly, when I get to B8, I see this is not just a number, it's actually a formula, and this is the answer to that formula. Well, it can be very important to know which ones are formulas and which ones are just numbers. And this can be very time-consuming, clicking on each one of these, trying to find out which is a formula and which is just a constant. Well, Excel has a few built-in tools to let you do that very easily. I want to talk about a shortcut that can make it very easy. Right here, I'm showing the symbol that's called a tilde. That tilde key is found in the very top left of your keyboard. Using Control tilde, we can turn Formula View off and on. Let's take a look and see what that does. I'm going to hold down my Control key and tap tilde. And everything changes quite dramatically. The first thing that happens is every single column doubles in width. So regardless of what the width is, whether it's skinny or whether it's quite wide, it's going to double in length. The second thing that happens is anywhere there's a formula, instead of showing the answer, it will show the formula. So as I look down column B, for instance, as I come down here, I can suddenly see all of these formulas. So now I can see very easily which ones are formulas and which ones are not. Now, to get rid of that, I can just simply hit Control tilde again. Control tilde. And it goes away. Let's bring it back one more time. Control tilde. Now, while we're looking at all of these, we might decide that it would be very useful to print out a sheet showing all of the formulas. We also might want to clean up the extra space that really isn't needed. And you probably already know this trick, but you can double click between any two columns and it will auto fit that or best fit it. So when I double click this one, it got considerably wider because of this one formula right here. I'm going to come over here to A and double click, and it made it considerably shorter because the widest one here was row 15 or A15, and we can see that it best fits it right to here. Well, there's another trick that allows you to best fit everything on your sheet. You come up here to the very top left, and this little triangle, gray triangle, is called the Select All button. I click it, it selects everything, and now I can double click between any two columns. Whether I click here or here or here, it will best fit all the columns. So I'm going to double click between E and F, and it best fits all of them. Alright, so we've cleaned that up a little bit. We've hit our Control tilde so we see all of our formulas, and now we might want to print that. I can go to File and Print. I'm going to get out of here. I can also do Control F2, and that brings up our print preview. And here I can see what my page is going to look like before I print it. I can see all of my formulas and the constants here as well. Now you might notice that I'm showing grid lines and I'm also showing headers for my columns and for my rows. And the way you can turn that off and on easily from the print preview view is to go to the very bottom of all of these commands to Page Setup, and if you go over to your Sheet tab, you can see here where you can turn off grids and row and column headings. So let's try turning those off, and we can see what that looks like as well. So I'm going to go back, and we can see here that I still see my grid lines, I still see my headers. That was just in the print preview to do that. So while we're here, let's also talk about other ways of finding formulas. I'm going to do Control tilde to go back to my normal view, and I'm going to clean it up just a little bit with Select All, double click between any two columns. Now we can also come to the very top right where it says Find and Select. We click our little down arrow and we can just simply choose formulas. So just a quick 2-click solution, and all the formulas are now highlighted. Now I want to be clear, these are not colored gray. We did not change the background color. We just simply highlighted them so that we could make them bigger, or change their color, or give it a background color if we want. But I just want to show you that if I click right here, if I just click away, that all goes away. It's just simply a selection. So I'm going to do that again, Find and Select, Formulas. They're all selected. Now with them all selected, I could change their background color to maybe this very light bluish color. And now I can easily see that all of these are in fact formulas. Well, the opposite is also true. You can select the constants, or data that's just simply a number, not a formula. Again, we come to Find and Select, and this time we go to Special. And one of our choices is constants. And there's lots of different kind of constants. We're only interested in numbers. So we unselect text, logicals, and errors and say OK. Now they are selected, and we can just simply change our fill color, and maybe we give it a very light orange. And so we can see both of those. Now just lastly, I want to show you that you can combine these two ideas. I've highlighted my constants and my formulas, but if I hit Control tilde, I can still enlarge that and show all of my formulas back and forth. And of course, we could print that as well. So we learned several different ways, Control tilde, and using our Find and Select to find formulas and to find constants.